In this video, we are going to be going over the product search overview. In this video, I'm going to be briefly going over all areas of the product research. I'm going to show you how to set up a scan, and we're going to be going over the filter section of product search. Now, unlike the filters we just used, these filters are going to be based upon store, and we can actually save our store filters depending on that store. So let me show you guys what I mean. Okay, to get into the product search section of Tactical Arbitrage, what you're going to do is you're going to come over here and just click on product search, and a screen like this is going to pop up. Now, once your scan is completed, you're going to see view data. You can download it, and you can click view data right here, and we'll get into that later on. But what we're going to do first is you're going to make sure your sourcing from section is correct. So, I'm sourcing from the USA and I sell in the USA. So that's why that's set up that way. Now, the next section is website. We're going to be picking what website we want to source from. Now, in this particular example, we're going to use Walgreens. And now what we're going to do is in the category section, we are going to paste the link of whatever we are scanning. So I went ahead and I went to the supplement section of Walgreens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the link from Walgreens right here. And I also want to say we're going to scroll down here and see how many pages. So it looks like 150 items, 24 items per page. And it looks like we're going to have 7 total pages right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in 1, and then we're going to plug in 7. Now, I want to say too is that every store is going to be slightly different. So, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. But if you hover your mouse over and you click on this question mark, it's going to show you what each store is looking for. So if you go ahead and you paste this link and you click search down here and it immediately comes back as done, then that means that something went wrong and you put in the wrong link. It needs to actually search. So you want to make sure that the link is compatible with Tactical Arbitrage, and it's different. I'm going to show you guys a different example here in a minute. Now, once we put in these pages, we can then click search, and it will then scan stores. Now, I'm going to get into the easy bulk and bulk list in the next video. But what I'm going to show you now is an example where posting the link to the store will not work. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to Kmart, and so Kmart is a little different. And if you notice here on the right-hand side, it tells us that we have to use a code for Kmart. So look, it's either going to be one of these 2 codes. So I went to the toys section of Kmart. And if you notice in the browser and the HTML that there's a code 20007. So what we're going to have to do is instead of posting pages, well, what we're going to do is we're going to have to get rid of this link. We're going to post that. And now what we're going to do is we're not even going to post this, and then we can click search. Now, like I said, most stores are like the previous example I just showed you. However, you always need to look over here to make sure that it's compatible with the format needed. Now what we're going to do is before we go ahead and actually click search, we want to make sure we have filters set up. And the way I know what filters to set up, look at all these stores I have. I have Black Friday filters. I have Father's Day filters. I have filters based on certain stores, based at certain times. Now, my favorite filter, and I use this one right here, is the 2018 final filter. And we're going to go ahead and go from bottom to top. And I want to show you guys what filters I use and why I use them so you guys can take this theory and apply it as well. So I'm not telling you to do these exact filters, but play around with them and see what results you get back. These are just what I use. So the first thing is I go to profit and ROI and I put in gross ROI of at least 10%. Now, obviously, I'm not sourcing things that have a profitability of 10%, but what that does is it gives me some leeway. I would rather see too many items than not enough items. And so this is going to give me a little buffer of items that I potentially, they might be worth sourcing. Now, I also sometimes like to put in gross ROI. I usually go for at least $4, $4.50, somewhere in there. And the next thing I do is cost and fees associated with my product. Now, cost to prep. Now, in this one, for me, it's actually closer to $1. but everyone is going to be a little bit different depending on your prep center. And I like to overestimate the cost sending into Amazon. For me, it's 40 cents a pound. Like I said, I like to overestimate a little bit. This next group, I don't really mess with. I'm not saying you can't mess with the filters in here, but I just don't. But here's what I do like. I like to filter with. Now, you remember those settings that we set up in the previous video? These are going to be set up where those settings in the previous video, it will go based off of those ranks that we put in. Now, oftentimes I'm not sourcing things that have 75 sellers. Every now and then you might find an item that's just really, really popular, that's moving really quickly, and that's fine. But, so I don't really mess with the rest. I like to see out of stock products. I like to see oversized products. The next thing I want to put in is remove products if Amazon title contains the word. And these are the ones I use. I have pack, bundle, set, count, pack, and then different variations of that. The reason why I have these is because sometimes I will get an item and it will say 500% gross ROI. But in reality, I'm buying one from the store and the Amazon listing is selling 3, 4, 5, 12. It just, it really depends. So it's kind of frustrating because I'm having to filter through those results. So what I decided to do was completely eliminate that altogether. There's probably some deals I'm missing out on because of these filters. But for me, it's worth it. I'm still finding a lot of items, so it's worth me saving the time. And the last filter I use that you will not see right here because I manually enter it every time is the store price reduction. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I mean by that. Now, this depends on whatever deal the store is having going on at the time. So let's say it's a 20% store-wide off offer. You can plug that in here and it will calculate that into profitability. If you would not enter that in, it would completely miss it. Or let's say you have a coupon. You can buy coupons on eBay, Groupon, and then apply those here, and it might be worth you using. What I like to do is I like to go in here, and let's go ahead and use Kmart as an example. And okay, so Kmart does not have a discount, but as you can see, Kohl's has 6% cash back. So if I were scanning Kohl's, I would go ahead and plug that in. Now, I also know Kohl's has 20 to 25% off depending on what you buy. So depending on what section I might scan, I would go ahead and put 25% in. This is a huge filter that really, really helps me find items. So I want to summarize what we talked about in this section. We talked about how to set up a product scan, and we talked about filters, and we also talked about the different category examples you may encounter when picking certain stores in tactical arbitrage. Now, guys, I will see you in the next section. We will be talking about easy bulk and bulk lists when scanning the product scan.